this next project is a really lovely Christmas decoration. You'll need 20 6x4mm crystal. These are little donuts. You'll need 5 10x8mm, a few size 11 seed beads, and I'm doing this all in crystal AB. You'll need about a yard or just under a metre of the 0.4 wire. I've got a pen and my pliers, and we'll begin. So the first thing to do, bring the ends of your wire together and find the middle of the wire, and just take, I'll just pop these beads out of the way, just take your pen and hold the wires together, and then we're going to twist the pen a couple of times, once, twice. That should do it. And that gives me my little loop at the top. See, these wires are twisted together. Then I'll go back down to the ends of my wire, and I'm going to thread on a seed bead on both wires, and I have found that the easiest way to do it is to thread one wire and then the other, and then you'll find it goes on quite easily. So, and I'll thread that right to the top up here, and that will cover these little twists. And then one of my large crystals through both, and then another seed bead. This is quite a nice, easy project and doesn't take too long, and you get a really beautiful result. And of course you can do it in any colour crystal. So now we've got that at the end, and it's hiding all of the wires. I'm going to now open up the wires out like that and like that, and I'm going to thread 10 of my 6x4mm crystals. And see, again, you don't need to pick them up to try and thread them. You just literally point the wire in. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, now I'm going to bring this wire and I'm going to take it back through the beads in the opposite direction, just like we did with the leaf pattern. And you can just hold the wires flat together and they just slide on. There we go. So now that I've got them on, I want to bring them down and around so that they circle around here. And I've found the best way to do it is you just have to go very slowly with it, and it can be a little bit fiddly or a lot fiddly, and you've just got to take your time with it. Now I've also found sometimes the best way to do it is once you get to this point is to bring the beads down to the bottom where they're supposed to be, and then you can bring the wires through more easily, and you can do one at a time. So there's one, and there's the other, and then you can just take your time. Now if you need to, you can just grab hold of the wire or towards the end of the wire with your pliers and give it a little tug. But I think I'm almost there now, and I'll just round that down. There we go. And then what I'm going to do, now that I've got it in a little circle, I'm just going to give them a little twist just to make sure. So again, I'll just hold it together and just give it a little tiny twist, and that will just hold them together. And then I'm going to bring my wires together, and again I'm going to thread on one seed bead on both wires. Now if the wires get really ratty at the ends, just snip them off and tidy them up So I've got one here. Make sure that's in nice and firmly. Yep. And then one of my larger crystals and another seed bead. Oh, behaved, went on together. So now what I'm going to do, now that I've got them up and they're in position, I'm going to take, oh, that seed bead, there he is. I'm going to take one wire through to the back and one wire at the front. So I'll just slide this one underneath. And thread it through. And sometimes if you're threading through, it pays to leave your finger in the middle so it doesn't get caught. Okay, so now I've got one forward, one back. I can bring them together and I can just do one little twist. There we are. So now there's the first part. Now again, another seed on both, and then a crystal. Sometimes you've just got to take your time and manipulate the things in place, because as the wire gets used, what you can do though is if it starts to get a bit too bendy, just run your fingers along it and straighten it out again so that it's behaving. Then back to another large bead and then another seed. There we are. And now I'm going to repeat what I've just done, and I'm going to thread another 10. So open it out and thread another 10. So I'm going to repeat this little pattern. So I'm going to do another 10 and then run this through the middle. So I'll just do that now. Now I've got my second 10 on and I've done a little twist, and now I've threaded on again the seed bead, the crystal and the seed bead, and again I'm going to take one forward, one back. So just thread that back through, and again don't forget, leave your finger inside so it's got something to run on and it doesn't get caught up, because if it gets caught up you can get a twist in the wire and you really don't want that. So there we are. So I'll just bring that into the middle. And then once they're both together in the middle, I can just hold them together. And again, just give it all a little twist, 1, 2, so that that's now in position. And we're almost at the end. So now, again, just straighten out your wires as you go. And I'm going to thread on my last seed bead and my last crystal and my last seed bead. So that's on there now. And I want to take my wires back through, but I'm going to just give them a little trim first to make sure that they're nice and even. And then I'm just going to pop both of the wires back through the size 12 bead and out, and I'll just hold that little seed bead in place while I do so, and then I'm just going to run it through. I might put my finger inside again so that I get a nice smooth passage, and if I have to do each wire separately it doesn't matter. And there's one, and there's the other. So I've got them in position now, and what I'm going to do is separate them out. They're coming around that seed bead nicely, and if I separate them out, I'm going to actually take this one through a couple of beads and this one through a couple of beads. I'm not going to go back through that seed bead because I don't think the wire will take it, so I'll just bypass the seed bead and just pop it out the way if I need to. And I'm just going to go back through this little bead here. So I've got that through, and I'm just going to use my pliers to grab it, and I can pull it through. Again, if you keep your finger inside, it's got something so the wire doesn't twist. There we go. And I'll just pull this one through. That's that one. And then I shall take this one through this side. So all that's left for me to do now is trim the wire, actually. So I'll just come in very close to the bead with the back of my pliers and just trim that one. I'll just tuck the ends in. And that one the same. There we go. There's our crystal Christmas decoration.